New York State Funeral Directors Association members have longevity in their communities. Many funeral homes had their humble beginnings in furniture making, livery services, or even as a post office. We recently sat down with several firms who are celebrating milestone anniversaries. Armour Funeral Home Incorporated was started by Robert W. Armour on his family farm in Ballston Spa. In 1967, the funeral home moved to its present location of 39 High Street. New York State Senator Jim Tedisco and Assemblywoman Mary Beth Walsh recently presented the funeral home with citations for their 50-year achievement. Today, Armour Funeral Home continues to be family-owned and operated, with Harry and his wife Lori, Harry's son Jason, and Harry's nephew Lance. The Armours are deeply involved in their community. It's not uncommon for them to be delivering food to the local food pantry or selling Christmas trees to their local Rotary Club, where both Harry and Jason have served as president.
Armour Funeral Home, started on the family farm, and Grandpa, I believe, got interested in the funeral business when he used to dig graves in the local cemetery.
Next, we traveled down to Westchester County to Rye. When the first English settlers arrived in the 1660s, the area was inhabited by Native Americans. Rye was a small farming community that featured one of the oldest thoroughfares in America, Old Post Road, which connected New York to Boston. In 1918, it became home to Graham Funeral Home.
William H. Graham was the original founder. His family owned a moving company in town, and he became a licensed funeral director, or undertaker in those days, and started the business in 1913. He was a very active man in town. He was former mayor of the city of Rye, and he converted this building in 1918.
Gene Guarino, as fourth owner of Graham's, doesn't see doing anything special to mark the 100th anniversary at the location. Gene believes strongly in giving back to his profession.
I've always been active in the New York State Funeral Directors for over the last 25 years. I've always felt it's really important that the association carries on.
Just a few short miles away is Portchester. The village was incorporated in 1868, 1 year after Kraft Memorial Home Incorporated opened its doors.
Funeral home was originally founded by Edward Fisher in 1867, and then the business was taken over by John Sloat, who had a furniture business in Portchester, both on Main Street of Portchester. Mr. Sloat's nephew then came into the business, Washington M. Kraft, and he sold the business to the Schnauz family, and then from the Schnauz family it was sold to the Mazzio family in 1981.
In 1937, Kraft Memorial moved to its current location. They were the first in the area to open a residential funeral home, as most wakes or calling hours were held at private residences during that time. During her research about the 150th anniversary, Michelle learned an important fact.
We are actually the oldest business in the village of Portchester. There's no one older than us.
Each funeral home we spoke with realizes that technology will play a big part in the future of funeral service.
Social media is growing so much that a lot of the families come in now and they're picking and choosing what paper because they know that it's going on our website, which they can share with on Facebook.
Funeral homes are undoubtedly never given enough credit for the vitally important role they play in their community.
And you start to realize that you carry on a heritage